This is Marion Altena with a special report from the Netherlands following the recent news about a sadistic online chat group called Network 764. On Sunday, October 26, 2025, a Dutch television program named Zembla has broadcast a documentary about the criminal online network 764. 2 days later, on Tuesday, October 28, a court case will take place against the 24-year-old leader of the Dutch branch of this network. 764 is a decentralized, internationally operating online sextortion network. Ideologically, it is linked to the Order of Nine Angles, a satanic, misanthropic, and socially disruptive terrorist network. 764 recruits vulnerable young people online and through heavy manipulation and blackmail, forces them to self-harm, abuse animals, commit sexual abuse, and commit suicide. The videos of these acts are broadcast via platforms such as Discord and Telegram. Not many people realize how remarkable it is that this is now in the news in the Netherlands. To understand this, we need to look at what lies behind 764. As with similar online groups, there are dozens of them. An important goal of 764 is to create fear, chaos, and disruption in society. And that goal stems from an ideology. In the case of 764, that ideology is the philosophy of the Order of Nine Angles. Supposedly founded in the United Kingdom in 1970, this order combines Satanism, Germanic paganism, Hermeticism, and other forms of occultism with political action. They believe that through concrete violent action, they can achieve their religious ideological goals. What you actually see happening with the Order of Nine Angles, 764, and similar networks is that very serious crime is committed. Crime that is inspired by occultism and Satanism. Let's now zoom in on the situation in the Netherlands. In addition to the 24-year-old leader of the network, who is due to appear in court on Tuesday, October 28, there are 3 other suspects according to the Zembla documentary. If you look at the media reporting on this, it is striking that the description of this network in the Netherlands is invariably sadistic and not satanic. This is in line with the trend that began around the year 2020, when a national investigation was launched by the Hendricks Commission into the nature of organized sadistic child abuse. Politicians and the media carefully avoided the term Satanism. In other countries, such as the United States and the United Kingdom, the situation is different. There, a spade is simply called a spade. Replacing the term satanic ritual abuse with sadistic organized abuse, in combination with keeping the description of satanic rituals as brief as possible, is harmful to the victims. Usually the media keeps the description of satanic rituals to something like men in dark robes, black candles, and mysterious chanting. Repeated use of this simplistic wording can easily turn into a stereotype, and such stereotypes can easily be abused and sent to the realm of conspiracy theories. But now we have a satanic sextortion network, Network 764, and its Dutch leader is due to appear in court on Tuesday. It is crystal clear that this group is seriously criminal. But how can we deduce that 764 is actually satanic inspired? Well, first of all, we have the logo. If you look at the elements incorporated into it, you see the numbers 7, 6, and 4 positioned above a strange double cross with a tilted number 8. Behind it you see a 5-pointed star with a goat's head. This 5-pointed star is a pentagram, a symbol that many will recognize as satanic. The goat's head combined with the pentagram is the so-called seal of Baphomet. Baphomet is a principality, a high-ranking demon worshipped in occultism and Satanism. And then there is the double cross with the tilted 8 underneath. This is the so-called seal of Leviathan, or the Leviathan cross. Leviathan is also a demonic principality. In alchemy, the Leviathan cross is the symbol of sulfur, and in the late 1960s, Anton LaVey adopted it as the logo for the Church of Satan. In addition to the logo, the ideology espoused by the leaders of 764 is also undeniably satanic. As I mentioned earlier, the order of 9 angles is their inspiration. This order is also known as the Ninth Circle, an international satanic coven that even engages in cannibalism. Over the decades, the Order of 9 Angles has demonstrated clear connections with occult neo-Nazis. Religious historian Nicholas Goodrick Clark demonstrates this in 2 of his books, in which he describes the relationship between Nazism, occultism, and Satanism in detail. The Order of 9 Angles also has links to political Islam, known as Islamism. In 2001, the Order applauded the 9/11 attack, and Anton Long, the leader of the Order, lived as a radical Muslim for a number of years. Nevertheless, the modus operandi of 764 is perhaps the most important aspect of this network that can demonstrate its satanic characteristics. A striking amount of what the perpetrators within 764 do corresponds to what victims of satanic ritual abuse testify to. And I am not only talking about the rituals, but also how blackmail, threats, punishments, and themes are used before, during, and after those rituals. Victims of satanic ritual abuse from all over the world report that perpetrators abuse and kill animals, that adults and children are subjected to severe sexual abuse, that the theme of suicide is used, the so-called suicide programming, as well as terrorism and murder. Furthermore, doxing and swatting of unsuspecting family members are used as means of pressure. The fact that 764 is now being targeted by law enforcement in the Netherlands is very good. However, I would like to touch on a few points of attention. There is a chance that 764 is being used by the overarching satanic network as a scapegoat. It may be that this relatively small network is being sacrificed for the greater good. 764 and similar online groups are low in the hierarchy of the global satanic network. They have a clear function and cause terrible damage, but they are only a small cog in a much larger wheel. There are larger networks behind 764. It would be going too far to explain this here, but a network such as the Order of Nine Angles, for example, clearly ranks above them in the satanic hierarchy. It should also not be forgotten that the atrocities committed by groups such as 764 can be perceived as so serious that they overshadow other groups. There is a strong possibility that 764 is acting as a smokescreen. It is therefore important to realize that the crimes that victims of satanic ritual abuse have been testifying about in vain for years are almost identical to what 764 is doing, albeit in a different setting. All this time, the victims have been the canaries in the coal mine. Last September, the Dutch Evangelical Broadcasting Network aired The Conspiracy, a series of documentaries in which the victims of satanic ritual abuse were portrayed as untrustworthy. This has made it even more difficult than it already was for a victim to report the crime and get help and protection. It is to be hoped that the unrest surrounding Network 764 will finally turn the tide, and that all victims of satanic abuse will be heard, the victims of online satanic networks and those who have been abused in ritual settings. Because it is certainly no longer possible to claim that there is no evidence of abuse carried out by perpetrators from satanic groups.